Okay, business outside the lines. Let's talk about contracts. Okay, so obviously this is not legal advice. I am not an attorney. Okay, in the 20 years that I ran Universal Net, I've signed 325 or more contracts. It's 325 at last count. And some of them, I've run into some interesting problems. I'm going to start out with this. If you own a business, I guarantee you, you will get sued. Doesn't mean they'll win, but anybody can sue anybody for any particular reason. And if you own a business, for some reason, everybody thinks you're the guy that they're going to sue. I want to get to the first and most important thing. If you do anything creative, like I'm recording a video right now, as a creative content creator, if we do not have a contract, let's say that I build a website for you and we don't have a contract. Do you know who owns your website? I do, and it's me. If a contract creator does not assign you rights, then the contract creator owns the product. You have to have a contract assigning rights. And there's basically three different ways you can do that. One of them is what they call work for hire. By the way, if you're a creator, don't do a work for hire contract. Unless you positively have to, don't. I've walked away from contracts because they made it work for hire. Work for hire pretty much means everything that you do for them belongs to them. Back when I did video games, work for hire could have worked because what are the odds I was working on more than one video game at a time? Almost zero. But doing websites, I'll be working on 2 or 3 websites at a time. So the nature of a contract and how a contract comes together, that's important. And if it's not written in the contract, you can't assume meaning. I was just on the phone with somebody yesterday about this. They had a contract with somebody and they thought a certain element was temporary. But what they found out was, because it didn't word it that way, upon successful fulfillment of this part of the contract ends, they found out it was in perpetuity. And the client didn't want to change it. So you need to be pretty specific in a contract. Okay, now let's talk about a letter of agreement versus a contract. Now, when I first started my company, I went and I bought a book with contract forms. And I sat down to sign a contract to build a website for somebody, and I pulled this 6-page document out that said the party of the first part, party of the second part, referencing paragraph 2A, version 3, and it just went in 6 freaking pages. And I showed it to the client, and they're like, I can't understand this. I can't sign this. They're like, I can't justify hiring an attorney to look at this contract. So, NOLO Press. So in my last video, I mentioned how eMyth Revisited is really valuable. NOLO Press is your friend. They have a lot of good contracts. They have a lot of good legal advice. There's a section in one of their books on small business that talks about letters of agreement. So a letter of agreement is basically an informal contract that uses common language. So if I'm doing a contract with somebody named Bob, it can be, hi Bob, my name's Chuck. I represent Universal Net and have all the rights to negotiate for them. I'm assuming you represent your company and have all the rights to negotiate for them. And then I go in and I write little clauses that cover all the little points. For example, what am I doing for them? I'm going to build you a website and it's going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to have these features built into it. What's my specific warranty? So when I first started this, my warranty was like 90 days. And I had a client call me up a year later and he said, hey, I just found out that there's a problem on this web page over here. He's like, is that going to cost me money? And I looked at it and I thought, that was my mistake. I said, of course it's not going to cost you money. I just couldn't do that. And I went in immediately and changed my contract to lifetime of the product. As long as they have a website with me, if we find some kind of an error that me or my team made in their design, we're going to fix it at no charge. You want to specify your client's responsibility. So, for example, I had a client who gave us a bunch of copy to put on their website, and I had somebody on my staff go and put all the copy on the website. And then the client came in and said, no, I decided I want to change that information. So they started rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. And I walk in there, I hadn't heard from the programmer in a couple of days. I walk into her office and she's in there with the client, and they have literally like pages and pages of paper that they're making edits on and retyping into the website. And I find out that she spent the last 3 days helping them edit their content. Well, I confronted the client about it, and they're like, well, you didn't say that we couldn't do live edits on the website. Guess what I added to my website, or to my contract? The fact that they have to provide us with the exact copy that's going on the website, that any changes after that are going to cost them. So, how to contact. Oh, okay. So, how to contact you for anything, maintenance, that sort of thing. So, we have a specific email address, and I recommend that you do this, but not in a way I want you to sue me for. So, have a specific email address that your clients can reach you at after you sign an agreement with them. And on that website, have it auto-respond with a date and time. We received your email at such and such date and time. This has saved us so many times, because I had a client get really angry with me because we hadn't responded on a key issue that they had. Well, we had no record of it. We never got the email. And when I ask them, they go, no, we never got the response back. Of course, this is back in 2000. Back then, the internet wasn't as reliable as it is now. But still, sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes you don't get the emails. I also tell my top clients, if it's really important, if it's really critical, here's my cell phone number. You send an email so my team gets it, and then you call me so that I can make sure that my team takes care of it. And I make sure that that email address, the one with client needs, goes to every single member of my team. Because what if I'm out of the office? What if the programmer who works on their project is out of the office? What if everybody's out of the office except for my receptionist? If she gets it, she knows to contact me and let me know everybody's out of the office and here's an urgent request from a client. So having that is important. So the last thing I want to hit on, I think that's the last thing, it is how you get paid. I always get a percentage up front. I just won't sign any more unless there's money up front. It's very rare that I did it to begin with. So normally I get like 40% up front, and then I get 20% when the graphics are done, and 20% when the site mostly works. We call that alpha. And I get the final 20% when the website's ready to be made live. And I don't make the site live until I get that last check. So I invoice him, because the deal was, once we got the look that he liked, he'd pay us. He says, I need 10 more web pages on my site for free. If you don't agree to do 10 web pages for free, I'm going to make you change the look of my website over and over and over again, and then I'm not going to approve it. I said, all right, not a problem. I said, we're done. We're not doing business anymore.